The date is Friday, April 30. This is the news on PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. The Ministry of Health and Wellness will begin distributing the second dose of the COVID-19 AstraZeneca vaccine next week. This was shared by Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, during a COVID-19 conversation digital press brief on Thursday.
The health minister says a little over 39,000 Jamaicans will be eligible to get their second jab of the AstraZeneca vaccine next week.
40,000 doses of the 55,200 that arrived in the island earlier this week are reserved for these persons. The remaining 15,200 will be pooled with the 11,800 that we previously had in stock.
Dr. Tufton notes that 50 samples were sent to the Caribbean Public Health Agency, but only 10 were found suitable for testing.
But of the 10 that were found suitable, which means that they had enough genetic material for the test to be done, 7 of the 10 were found to have the UK variant, while the other 3 had mutations that are being investigated in the US and the UK in particular, but which have not been designated to be variants of concern.
He says the discovery of the 7 of 10 does make a point.
It does say that the UK strain of COVID-19 virus is here. It is, I think, based on the discoveries, it is fairly wide scale, and it could possibly explain the rate of spread that we have experienced on the second wave or the second surge, and that is a matter that has to be recognized as we move forward.
This news comes as Jamaica's travel ban on the United Kingdom is scheduled to end today, April 30. So as of May 1, visitors from the UK can arrive in Jamaica.
The Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, has welcomed the government's move to sponsor extra lessons for students when schools physically reopen. This is to facilitate the loss of learning the country has experienced via restrictions brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic last year. In an interview with the Jamaica Observer, JTA President Jasford Gabriel said, quote, "Even prior to the pandemic, the education system was not necessarily meeting the needs of the 21st century learners, but given what has transpired since the pandemic, it is a good suggestion," end quote. Education Minister Favour Williams announced the Extra Lessons initiative in her contribution to the sectoral debates in the House of Representatives on Wednesday.
When we resume normal operations in our school, we will launch a government-sponsored extra lesson program to provide more teaching and learning opportunities for our children, especially those from economically disadvantaged homes. Extra lessons have been a feature of the Jamaican education landscape for a very long time, and with good reason. Parents recognize that their children need way more hours of teaching time to keep up or get ahead. However, given the cost of extra lessons, only parents with means can afford extra lessons. Yet children from economically disadvantaged homes need extra lessons more. The ministry will launch the after-school extra lesson program. Of significance, this program will be available to parents who want to learn more so that they can help their children, or they want to complete the high school they never finished. The details of the plan are being fleshed out.
The Financial Investigations Division, FID, says it will be moving to recover any wealth gained by former National Commercial Bank senior manager Andrea Gordon, who allegedly defrauded the bank of $34 million over 3 years. On Thursday, Gordon pleaded guilty to 13 counts on an indictment charging her with 3 counts of larceny, 3 counts of cybercrime, and 7 counts of money laundering before the Supreme Court Judge Justice Lorna Shelley Williams. in downtown Kingston. Her sentencing will take place on May 31 this year. At the time of her arrest, Gordon, who was employed to the bank for approximately 30 years, was the manager of NCB's Operations Center at 29 Trafalgar Road in St. Andrew. Her last recorded salary was in the amount of just over $11.1 million annually. According to the allegations before the court, probes revealed that Gordon posted approximately 282 suspicious transactions totaling $111 million. The transactions were done between February 2017 and May 2020. She was, however, indicted only for $34 million. Registration for the Jamaica Library Service National Reading Competition 2021, which is being held under the theme Stay Connected and Read, is officially open until May 14. Persons interested are encouraged to register online at www.jls.gov.jm/NRC. Parish champions will be selected based on their comprehension skills and knowledge of select literature. The final stage of the competition, which is the National Quiz Finals, will see 5 national champions emerge. The month of April is recognized as Autism Month. Autism is a neurological disorder that normally manifests in children before the age of 3 years. This is a lifelong, non-progressive disorder which impairs development significantly, affecting verbal and nonverbal communication and social interaction. Recently, teachers in St. Thomas took to the streets to raise awareness about the disorder.
I'm Jacqueline Hendricks, President of the St. Thomas Teachers Association, JTA, and also the principal of the Licensed Center of Excellence. April is deemed or dubbed Autism Awareness Month, and today, the members of the St. Thomas Teachers Association Special Education Committee took the initiative to go out into the town of Morant Bay and to educate our brothers and sisters about this disability.
So I think we must be careful when we send them out back on the street. Monitor them. Don't just send them back to mama and daddy. Because mama and daddy who might not even comfortable no more either. So then no mommy and daddy then home, then dead. You understand what I'm saying? So they need help mentally, physically, spiritually. You can't leave God out of this thing, you know.
Tributes continue for late Senator Ambassador Anthony Johnson, who died on Wednesday at the age of 82. Governor General Sir Patrick Allen said, quote, Ambassador Johnson led a full life which crossed disciplines to include media, academia, politics, and economics, and was a pioneer in some areas, end quote. Ambassador Johnson, who served in both houses of Parliament, was also a university lecturer and published author. Marlon Samuels rewinds the tape on his life and his contributions.
In his formative years, Anthony Johnson attended Kingston College. After this, he went on to earn a BA in Economics and a MA in International Trade and Finance from the University of California at Los Angeles.
My love for agricultural things and nature things goes back to when I was assistant farm editor at the Daily Gleaner.
That's where you started?
That's where I started, journalism at the Daily Gleaner. Yeah, that was where I won my first scholarship to go to UCLA. I was the Inter-American Press Association Award winner for the year 1960.
He was a senior Fulbright scholar in 1980. In the same year, Johnson began his political career and joined the Jamaica Labour Party, where he was appointed to the Senate. He left the Senate in 1983 to become a member of Parliament, representing Northeast St. Catherine. He speaks of his experiences as an MP in this Morning Coffee Guest interview.
Well, the one thing that you learn in life every day is how little you know and how much more there is to be known in almost every field. And it's really quite humbling how much more there is to know. And I must say I've never lost thirst for study and for knowledge.
Yes.
And every day I'm out in the country with the people and the farmers and everything, I'm learning something new every day.
From 1992 to 2008, throughout his time as a senator and MP, Johnson lectured at the University of the West Indies with the Department of Management Studies. After leaving public office, Johnson worked in the Jamaican Foreign Service. He was Jamaica's ambassador to several countries, including the United States and the United Kingdom. He also served as a non-resident ambassador to the Republic of Finland, the kingdoms of Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and Ireland. Ambassador Johnson was hailed as an exceptional humanitarian and statesman. In 2016, he was awarded the Order of Jamaica for his service to the nation. Aside from his public service, he was a husband and a father. One of his 4 children followed his footsteps, which is the current Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Kamina Johnson-Smith. We here at the Public Broadcasting Corporation express condolences to his family. In the immortal words of his KC alma mater, Fortis cadere cedere non potest. The brave may fall, but never yield. For the news on PBCJ, I am Marlon Samuels.
Do you know your credit score? It's the score that dictates your credit worthiness. You may not think about it now, but this score can affect your ability to secure a vital loan or mortgage. In this expanded edition of the Business Report, Gabriel Thompson speaks with financial coach Denise Williams on this important issue. Plus, we get other market details.
In Thursday's trading session, the JSE combined index advanced by 2,033 points to close at over 400,000 units. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 85 stocks, of which 41 advanced, 27 declined, and 17 traded firm. The junior market index advanced by 23 points to close at over 3,000 units. Stocks advanced for AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited, Caribbean Assurance Brokers Limited, and Caribbean Cement Company Limited. Stocks declined for 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited, Barita Investments Limited, and CAC 2000 Limited. Trading firm were 1834 Investments Limited, CAC 2000 9.5% preference shares, and Epley Limited 8.75% preference shares. Future Energy Source Company Limited ordinary shares was the volume leader with over 10.1 million units, followed by Sagicor Select Funds Limited Financial with over 1.8 million units, and Wigton Wind Farm Limited ordinary shares with over 1.8 million units. In foreign exchange trading for Thursday, April 29, the US dollar sold for an average $154.22. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $125.22. The pound sterling traded for $216.61, and the euro sold for an average $186.61. Oil prices slipped on Friday, taking a breather after touching their highest in 6 weeks, as concerns of wider lockdowns in India and Brazil to curb the COVID-19 pandemic offset a bullish outlook on summer fuel demand and the economic recovery. Brent crude futures fell 84 cents to $67.22 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate crude futures slid by 97 cents to $64.04 a barrel. In this week's edition of Financially Focused, financial coach Denise Williams gets personal, sharing how her credit was damaged by emergency medical debt and recalls an adventurous tale of credit card fraud involving wedding debt where she wasn't the bride. Denise says too often there's talk of investment, savings, and the like, but credit profiles are usually not a part of our day-to-day awareness in financial planning. She wants to change that.
When it was time for me to get a loan in 2016, my credit report was pulled and it was 62 pages long, like a book. I was in shock. And, I never knew the detailed level of information that the credit bureaus had on me. So I knew I needed to immediately get a plan to get control of all aspects of my financial life. In 2018, a banker called me to say there was some unusual activity on my credit card and I need to visit the branch. I was already burdened by medical bills and other debts, and I went to the bank with a heavy heart because I'm very solutions oriented, and I thought that I'm chipping this down. and working in investment banking, helping my clients to also pretty much do the same thing, because many of us are in the same boat. However, I didn't expect to hear what I heard. It was remarked that clearly I had overspent on my wedding. And I'm like, excuse me, what wedding? Huh? Apparently, my card had been swiped. I probably went to the gas station or something, and a duplicate was made. So someone with a duplicate credit card went to a wedding dress boutique. They went to a wedding center for the nuptials, a supermarket, probably to feed the guests, I don't know, a gas station, and a very high-end North Coast boutique. Okay? All using my card. Here's the thing. Once you dispute charges, your credit is, your credit card is automatically frozen. So the fight isn't about that, because banks are very responsive in that way, and they freeze it. Here's the fight. It took me 1 year to dispute all the errors on my credit card, which then was reported to the credit bureau. Okay? So, all right, the fraud wedding was a blessing in disguise, because I went through my credit card statements with a fine-tooth comb. I realized in some cases I was billed twice for items, and in other cases the payments were not recorded, or because I paid on the day that the bill was due, the credit card statement was due, okay, it wasn't recorded properly. Yeah? And so I had to dispute fees, I had to dispute interest charges, but the fun didn't stop there, right? After that 1 year fight to clear my name, I was still denied a loan from another financial institution. Why? Because the Caribbean, and that's where, my family's from, is under a credit reporting regime. And that means any issue you have with one bank is the information shared with all banks. So having damaged credit can make it hard for you to obtain new loans to move your life forward. And I learned that in my 2016, 2017, 2018 journey. And, here's confession time. I hadn't been checking my credit report. I may have checked the credit card statement, but not the credit report. Remember, there are 2 credit bureaus, so you have to check 2 different places. And, the credit mistakes you make in the past can be almost nearly impossible to live with, especially when new creditors, new lenders are reluctant to provide you with a second chance. You can help yourself. You are not dependent on, paying a fee to someone when you are in a position to work it out on your own. So how does that work? So, for you to, one of the biggest tools is a secured credit card. Okay. And you might not be in a position to pay a professional to walk you through the paperwork to correct mistakes, dispute credit items, and such. So if you've been denied a loan, the fastest thing you can do is get a secured credit card. It's not really that different from a regular credit card. It just operates in the fact that you have to make a deposit against the credit limit. And then the deposit is utilized by the creditor as a security in case you have problems and you default on your payment. And so usually the secured credit cards have a credit limit of 50%. So if you make $10 deposit, your credit limit would be $5, as an example. So you have to check out the fees, of course, because different banks have different fees. You can, absolutely check it out. But it is something that I would recommend you do, a secured credit card, because guess what? As you manage your payment history and rebuild your good name, you are then, you graduate from the secured credit card into other credit facilities. And so, it's just really important to have a plan of action. That's what I would really recommend that you do.
Thanks, Denise. For more information on the development of your financial future, head on over to financiallyfocusedmedia.com or find Denise on YouTube at Financially Focused for more videos on debt healing and financial planning. And that does it for this extended edition of the Business Report Inside the News on PBCJ. I'm Gabrielle Thompson. Pleasant viewing.
In news from across the region, as COVID numbers continue to spike across Trinidad and Tobago, establishments that encourage gatherings will be closed for the next 3 weeks. At a press conference hosted in Tobago on Thursday, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley lamented that the levels are reaching disturbing heights. Carissa Douglas has more.
To stress that the behaviors of citizens, especially in the home, and that of influential people in the community have been a major contributor to the increase in COVID cases. As such, he explained after consultations with stakeholders, the government has been moved to implement additional restrictions.
All restaurants and bars will be closed. 2, all malls would be closed. 3, all places of worship would be closed. All gyms and fitness centers will be closed. All spas, hairdressing locations and beauty dispensing areas will be closed to the public.
The public sector has also seen added adjustments.
Casinos and betting houses, cinemas, theaters and clubs will be closed. The public service will operate on essential service only as per the regulations and the details that were spelled out the last time out. Further details will be available tomorrow, but the public service will operate on essential service only. Tobago would be isolated, as we were, by limiting the amount of flights into Tobago and out of Tobago to 3 flights a day, and the sea bridge will operate at 25% capacity on the ferries. All tours to various areas of recreation, tours, whether it is to the bird sanctuary, the Buku Reef, or similar places, tours would end. They would not be permitted.
While restaurants and bars and places of worship remain closed, street food outlets can continue to operate and funerals can be held under the previous restrictions outlined. Dr. Rowley stressed, however, that the aim is for persons to remain at home. These adjustments would take effect from midnight and continue until May 23rd. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister informed that the rollout of vaccine administration has also seen some adjustments.
We are holding in our hands now about 38,000 doses of vaccines that we were holding in the event that no more was coming to us in the very near future, and that would have been used to be the second dose on those persons who are vaccinated. We've taken a decision today that we will use those vaccines as first dose application for persons who are to be vaccinated.
Dr. Rowley said outdoor gatherings will still be permitted. However, people must be masked and in groups of no more than 5. Carissa Douglas for TTT News.
Over in Guyana, with upgrades to the tune of $222 million, the public hospital at Diamond, East Bank Demerara, has now been commissioned as a smart hospital, which is fully functional and boasting green systems, including those to allow for energy efficiency. The hospital has an energy-efficient, state-of-the-art solar system that allows it to generate its own electricity. A system has also been installed to harvest rainwater, further reducing energy costs. We get more in this Newsroom Guyana report.
The Diamond Hospital is now equipped to provide surgery, obstetrics and gynecology, orthopedics, 24-hour emergency service, outpatient services, and auxiliary services like x-rays and ultrasounds. It also boasts a pharmacy and a laboratory. With its upgraded facilities, the hospital will be manned by 58 nurses and will have 20 doctors who would be working there. Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony said the departments have also been designed to enhance order and efficiency.
And so while we are opening this particular facility and will be doing so for 4 others soon, we have already done the assessment of 89 other health facilities in Guyana. And as we roll out our repairs and building programs for these other health facilities over the upcoming years, we are going to ensure that we build them to become more climate resilient, because this is absolutely necessary in the environment in which we live.
The upgrade to the hospital was funded through the United Kingdom's Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office. PAHO Guyana representative Dr. Louis Philippe Cadena said, with the completion of the Diamond facility, the focus would now be shifted to 3 other hospitals selected for upgrades.
Today, we are here at Diamond Diagnostic Center to hand over the keys of this smart facility back to the Ministry of Health. During the past 11 months, the retrofitting focused on structural, non-structural, and green aspects. Upgrades to this facility included the air quality, the fire protection system, and the disabled access was improved. The plumbing system and water savings fixture were also updated, and a photovoltaic system was installed and several other upgrades.
The Diamond Hospital has also been painted with bright colors using color therapy to create a healthy ambience to lift the spirit of patients, their families, and friends.
In sports, teenage fast bowlers Zayda James and Janelia Glasgow are among 8 uncapped players named in the 30-member training squad for a month-long high-performance camp set to get underway in Antigua on Sunday. 16-year-old James is a left armer who hails from St. Lucia, while Glasgow, also 16, is out of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They will be joined by Jafina Joseph, Washana Williams, Kanisha Isaac, Shanika Bruce, Mandy Mangru, and Rachel Vincent as those without international experience. Chief Selector Anne Brown John said the new faces selected for the camp were in keeping with the ongoing strategy of expanding the talent pool. Of major importance will be the ICC Women's World Cup qualifiers scheduled to bowl off in Sri Lanka in December. The tournament will determine the last 3 spots for next year's 50-over World Cup in New Zealand. And that's the news. Thanks so much for watching. Do enjoy your weekend and keep safe.